Right then, this is my first instalment of mini vlogs, let's say. I'm not too sure if I've got a name for it, but it's a bit of an intrusive look in a sort of a rough and ready format, like I am today, into my angling. Yeah, I haven't just set this up in my garden and pretending I'm fishing, I'm actually fishing. Bite time's gone, show time's gone, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it because I'd be looking out there. First things first, I've made a list of all different things that I'd like to talk about, and you know, I've got loads of tactical ones, as I say, watercraft ones, you know, big carp ones, story ones, seasonal approaches, you know, different times of the season. But top of the list is a little bit of sort of about me and my angling, I suppose, and that's that big carp mindset, or singling out. It doesn't have to be a big carp, it's singling out certain fish. For me, in general, it is the big one, you know, it is most people's, you know, but it could be a pretty one that you're after, you know, a big fillet or linear or whatever, trying to single out a certain fish and what you can do to stack the odds in your favour to catch these fish, because these certain things, and hopefully by the end of this, you know, I'm not going to go too deep and right into detail of every single thing, but I'm going to pull things off the mind that I've been thinking about that I could tell you that you might sort of be like, oh, you know what, that makes a bit of sense, I'm going to try a bit of that, and hopefully might help you. That's what it's about. I'm not here trying to sell you anything, I'm just trying to say, look, this is what I do, it's helped me down the line catch fish, and hopefully it might help you if you've got the time to listen to it. If not, turn it off now. So yeah, first things first, with singling out fish, or fishing in general, you know, I call it my power, if you like. You know, what powers you to go fishing? Is it loads of bites? Is it that one big fish? Is it, you know, there's loads of different things. Is it these little scaly ones? Is it river commons? You know, there's loads of different things that people use as their power, and my power is, you know, big carp fishing, you know, singling out that certain one that I want in my album. How do you get it? You know, you've got to want it. You know, I picture myself with these fish and the moment, you know, we've all had that special moment. I'm sure everyone that's watching, unless you're just getting into fishing, you know, has had that moment with a personal best or a real nice fish, and it's just like, it's overwhelming. It's a feeling of euphoria, you know, where it, you know, so much so that you can't even really remember them sometimes, because you're just that blown away. That's what powers me to go, you know, eating it, sleeping it, breathing it, you know, looking at that fish, you know, letting it really get under your skin to literally go through. Because if you're not doing that, you're just going to go through the motions, you know. And this is, by the way, this isn't me saying this is how you've got to fish. This is me, all these things that I'm going to be doing on these little mini vlogs. I don't know why I keep doing this. All these things that I'm going to be doing are my personal preference. You know, I'm not trying to force my opinion on people or anything like that. This is just about, you know, if you sort of follow things that I do, and you know, you want to try and pick up some information, this is what it's about. I thought I'd get that across in the first instance. So yeah, I've got my power. I'm trying to, you know, I need something that's going to power me to go all sorts of miles, getting up at all sorts of times in the night, lack of sleep, you know, spending all your time, all your money, you know, time's the most precious thing in life, you know, and I'm giving a load of it up to try and catch this fish, you know. So you've got to have something that's going to drive you, you know, it's that addictive personality that you've got to channel, because that's the only thing that links us all. Anyone watching this video that's an angler, the only thing that we've got in common is we've all got addictive personalities of some sort, which means if we weren't fishing, we'd be doing something else that's addictive. We've got a hobby, not everyone's got it. Anyway, I'll stop chatting on about life and talk about fishing. So I've got my power, I've got, you know, I've got to literally let it get so under my skin that's going to force me to do all these things that I'm about to talk about. So trying to locate your fish is 100% one of the biggest factors of then using that information when once located to put into your own angling. So you know, I spend a lot of time looking up trees, in bushes, in the edges, you know, even if it's a muddy farm pond that you're fishing, when the fish are right up in the layers, especially in the sun, you can notice certain fish for the scales on the back and that. So it's not all about crystal clear waters, but if you're fortunate enough to have crystal clear waters, then obviously this works a lot better. So yeah, I bait a lot of spots in the edge that I can visually get up trees, and walk in quite. It doesn't have to be easily. Yeah, I can walk in and keep my eyes on, and sometimes you might just come across that fish. And straight away, if you have, you've got to use it, not just think, oh no, there's that fish that I'm after. You've got to extract information straight away. What can I gather from this? Is it feeding in a specific way? You know, is it up in the water when it's feeding? Is it wafting things? You know, is it really clued up? Is it just in there munching? You know, how am I going to use these things? You know, it might turn out to say, you know, it might down the line help you with some sort of end tackle bits and bobs. Is it with any friends? You know, is it got any mates it's knocking around with? Definitely look out for that. Does it swim in a certain way? So all these things, I'll come back to each one of them as I carry on in a minute. So yeah, you've got to extract all the information you can, because it might be a split second, it might be 10 minutes that you get to look at it, but don't just look at it and think, oh, there's that fish, there's the one that I'm after. Try and read the situation straight away. Other things, I've probably jumped past something that you should do in the first instance, before even trying to find it. Try and find out all the information that you can about its previous captures, you know, locations that it gets caught. Does it get caught with certain fish? Is it one that just comes out randomly on his own? Does it get caught among packs of fish? You know, and how we're going to use that information. So if it's a sort of one bite, you know, and done, it's a loner, then you know that you're just fishing for that one random bite. You know, you're happy to fish one rod on a spot. But if it's a fish that comes out with another fish or another couple of fish, or amongst a big hit of fish, because it's just a big muncher, then you know you want to be doubling up on them rods or trebling up on them, 2-3 rods on the spot, because the last thing you want is them fish all feeding out there and you get one bite, you've only got one rod and you've got to get rigged back out, you might spook him off. Again, where that comes back into play is if you notice that that fish has got a friend that it gets caught with from previous captures, or one that you see it swimming around with, how do I use that information? Again, it's the same. It tells me how many rods to at least fish on spots. If I know that it's got a little mate that it knocks around with, the last thing I want is be putting one rod on 3 different spots, because if I catch his mate first, I'm going to have to try and get that rod back out and potentially spook it off. But if I've got a rod still sitting pretty, it's game on. And I'll give you a great example of when this has happened twice for 2 real big fish targets of mine. A fish called the yellow leather. I was fishing for bite mark at the time. I had a mate of his which was called the yellow leather, and I had 2 rods on the spot, because I knew that I always had 2 or 3 rods on one spot. I knew that it knocked around with this fish. And yeah, one day I caught the yellow leather and I knew I had that rod still out there, and literally 15-20 minutes later I caught bite mark. Other people might have been trying to get the rod back out. Again, same scenario with the Burfield Common. I had a little friend of his called what I call Pointy Face, because it had a little twisted mouth, and it was only 18-20 pound or something at most, and it's a tiny fish really for Burfield. Not many people would care about it, but I knew it was a little friend of the commons, and I had 2 rods out in the zone. I caught Pointy Face, put it in the net, and as soon as that fish went in the net, I knew that there's a good chance she is out there, and I was sat there. Other people might have been like, just a little cricket back common, throw it back, trying to get the rod back out. What they done, spooked off the common, and literally again 10-15 minutes later, bang, the other rod's away, and that's how I caught the common. That's what happened, and hopefully that thing alone, that's a fact, so hopefully you're sort of thinking, bloody hell, yeah, they sort of stacked the odds in his favour a little bit with that, knowing that information. So just that information alone is great information. Along the way of trying to find out information, you'll also find out negative information, as in what I would say, you're finding out its likes, where it likes, but also finding out its dislikes, so you can, after visually looking in areas yourself a lot, as well, and coupling it up with that information that you've sort of found out along your journey. You ain't got to find it all out, punishing everyone before you go to wake. You can find out as you're there, and you start to almost build in this puzzle of where it goes, where it doesn't go. I haven't seen it there. People said that it hasn't been caught out there, and I haven't seen it there either. So you can start to almost negate areas that you would negate. That's quite a clever word for me. Yeah, you can start to rule out areas. That's a better one for me. Rule out areas of the pond, and bait, and then you put it into your baiting strategy as well. I'm not wasting bait in the corner, I'm not getting in there, that sort of thing. So yeah, they're definitely a couple of things. What else have you got? Yeah, so a couple of rods on the spot. Visually up all the time, looking at the pond. I mean, this is killing me now, not being able to look at the water, even though, sort of like I said, bite time's gone and show time's gone. We're all in the out of bounds by this time of day, which is just round to me left. I can guarantee it. Because I know the fish that I'm after. I've seen it the last 2 days. This is the thing. I know it lives in there in the day. It comes out at night. Where it goes is yet to be known by me. I'm sort of midway through this. I say midway through. I could have another 10 years on it. Who knows? But yeah, I'm sort of just figuring this place out where I am, and yeah, I'm definitely getting on the back of this fish, if you like. Trying to. But eventually, I want to be able to get ahead of it. What else? Yeah, so keeping your eyes on the water at all times, because you might just get that one show where you go, boom, there is that fish that I want, because you can visually spot them. Trust me. I've got a great video, I'll overlay it over this right now, of the Burfield Common bouncing out. I actually see it, I think 3 times in total. Another possible, but definitely 3 times in different areas. Why do I want to know that information? It's giving away a possible feeding zone or a patrol route or what have you. Another piece of information that I picked up about that about the common was the way that it swam. This goes back to what I said about watching its behaviour, not just looking at, oh, there's the one that I'm after, reading the fish. And when it swam on the surface, about 4 foot behind it, the top lobe of its tail just came out. I've got a video of this as well, so I'll show you that. And why was that good information that I extracted? Because I could literally be in a bay when they're on the top, and if I saw this, this shoulder at the water, and then about 4 foot behind it, this little top lobe. None of the others did it. It's just this little top lobe. Just every now and then. Sometimes it was out constantly. Sometimes it just flicked out. It was definitely it. I proved it a few times. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's it. There's that top lobe. Got up the tree. Yeah, it's it. So after a while, I just sort of ruled out getting up the trees when they were on the top, because I knew it was here. Again, I could see it 200 yards through the binos. Bang, so I'm building a picture of where it's going, what it's doing by finding out all these little bits of information. I would say that that's about as deep as I really want to get. I don't want to be droning on. What time of day is it now? Because I've got loads to do. Sorry. See, this is how rough and raw it is. It is 5 to 9. See, told you, bite time's gone. But yeah, I would say another thing to do is always just be ready. You don't know if it's going to be the first bite or the 10th bite or the 100th bite that you're going to get, but always be ready, as in tackle ready and mentally ready as well. You've got to think that this could be the one on the end of the line every time. So using stuff that you're confident in, not playing around. These are quite obvious ones, I would say to most. Yeah, using a quick tackle. I like to use some really souped up, thick braided main lines, and thick fluorocarbon leaders, and rigs that I'm really confident in, and big strong hooks. I don't want to be running the risk of losing that fish, because it might be another 2-3 years before that one gets hooked or caught. It could be and again, more information that you want to know. Is it a spring fish? Is it an autumn fish? Does it come out 5 times a year, 10 times a year? Does it come out once every 5 years? What's the crack with this fish? Does it get caught on the zigs? Does it get caught in the edge? Does it get caught on the top? Loads of information that you can use and put into your plan. That's about as deep as I'll get with it. Hopefully you've picked up a little bit of the mindset that I'm in. Just never give up. Either the fish dies, I die, or I catch it. They're the 3 scenarios. You've heard a lot of people say that, but that is literally how it is. So yeah, join me next time for another Top Tips with Scott Lloyd. I don't know how to end it, but yeah, peace out.